Hi friends, today I'm going to show you a program on how to make a uh, bookshop program. So firstly we will make a class with a class name book. Inside the private, I have declared some attributes, that is book code with integer data types, author title, publisher with string data type, price with double, and stock with integer data type. And then inside the public I have made constructor, that is with a class name, and inside the parentheses I have given the int u, string x, string y, which will be taking the values from the object during the creation itself. Then let me show you how it is done. That I have created here some objects with the parentheses, and inside the parentheses I've given the values. So during the object creation itself, these values will be passed on to the constructor for initialization. So these values will be passed to this constructor with these arguments. These arguments will be passing these values to the attributes defined for this object, that is I have declared under the private label. So the objects will be these objects will be initialized during the creation itself. Okay, then after that in the int main I have made an option based program, that is for seller and customer different. If the user selects for seller option, then it will go to the seller function, and inside that I have given another set of choices: show box, update, transaction. For if the user selects for show box, it will go to the first case, and that is p1 dot show detail, p2 dot show details, etc. The show detail is a getter function which is defined inside the class under the public label. Let me show you that it is this. So it will be printing all the details of the particular object, and then if the user selects for update option, it will ask for the which book has to be updated. So in this I have asked for the book code. If the user enters the correct book code and it matches, then it will go to the p1 dot update. So it will call the update function, which is under the public, and it will ask which what has to be updated, price or stock. If a user selects for price, it will go to price update function, which is defined under the private label. Otherwise, if the user selects for second, it will go to the stock update, which is also defined under the private. So let me show you this is the price update. So it will ask for the new price. This new price will be given as an input to the price attribute of that particular object. And if the user selects for stock update, it will ask for the new stock detail, and it will be inputted into the stock attribute for that object. Then after that, if the seller selects the gives the option for transaction, it will go to the case 3 transaction, and it will see out the total failed transaction, failure, success. That is the failure and success I have declared globally. These failure and success are the global variables, that is this int failure is equal to 0, int success is equal to 0. Why I have created this: if the when a customer purchases a book, and if he searches for the book, if it is not available, it will be counted as a failure transaction. And if he if he enters the number of books which is more than the stocks available, then it will also be counted as failure. So during those cases, it will be calling this trans function, which will be counting the number of failure transaction. And if the purchase is successful, it will call the same transaction function, and it will go to this success, and this success will be incremented. So so seller has the option to check the successful and failed transaction. So this failure and success are the global declared variables. So these variables will the value of these variables will not be deleted, it will be saved there outside the function also. So the seller can be able to view the number of failed and successful transaction. So now if in the int main, if the user selects for customer option, you go to the customer function. Inside that I have given show books and purchase a book options. So if the user selects for show books, it will go to the first option and it will show the book details. I have given all the objects with show detail function, so it will calling the show detail function, and it will show all the details of the books. That is this show details. It is a getter function. It will show all the details of the book of the particular object. Then after that, if the user selects for purchase a book, then it will go to the option second. It will ask for the author name and the publisher name. Then I have made a new object with parenthesis a comma b, which is the author name and the publisher name just made by me. And this, as you can see, this object and the parameters given is different than the previously made object, which has so many parameters. So as the parameters number of parameters has changed, so the constructor should be also be different. So I have made a different constructor for this, that is book string x and string y. So it will be taking the input of the new object with the two param arguments only, and it will be passed to these attributes. Then after that, if the entered book matches, it will go to this p6.search function. This search function checks for the details of the p6 object with another object and searches for it. If the attributes match with each other, it will return one value, else return 0. If it doesn't match with this one, it will go to this else part. This book is not available, and we'll call the trans function. Trans, which as I told you earlier, will record the number of failed and successful transaction. So it will be passing 0 value, which is indicating for failed transaction. If the search matches, it will go to the another function called number of copies, which is defined under public label. So with the option the object detail will be passed on to this function, number of copies. And here the book details will be shown, and the user will be asked to enter the number of copies needed. If the number of copies greater than the stock available, it will show the number of copies is not in stock, and this failed transaction will be recorded in the trans function. Else, if the number of copies is available, then it will show the total cost of the book, that is n into price. N is the number of copies entered by the user, and price is the price of attribute of that object. Then the stock will be updated, then the remaining stock will be displayed to the user. Then this successful transaction will also be recorded by entering this trans 1. 1 will be the success transaction indication. Then the user if the user enters for the other option for exit, it will exit from the program. Then it will go to the main function and will terminate the program. Now let's run the program. So now enter for customer. Let me show books. It's showing the book details. Now if we want to purchase a book, let me enter a book name. Enter. Now publisher name. Enter. So it's showing the book details here and stocks available. Now it's asking for number of copies needed. So I'm going to enter 6. So it is now showing the total cost of books for the 6 books I have ordered. So now the remaining stock is 1. Now let me press enter 3, exit. Now let's go for seller option. Now I can see for, let us enter the transaction option. Here we can see the failed transaction and successful transaction. So successful transaction is 1 and failed transaction is 0. Now if you want to update the book details, it is asking for book code. So book code, let us enter 114. It is asking for what has to be updated. Price of stock, let us update the stock, and new stock will be, let us enter 20. It is updated. Let us go for show books. It is showing the books. The book code I have entered 114 is here, and the new available stock is 20. Earlier I purchased this book, uh, it was 1. This book, it was showing the remaining stocks 1. Now I have updated this stock as 20. You can see here. So this program is successful, and thank you.